Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins that could be hiding right in your pocket change if you're a coin collector. First up, a history look at the 1944 Jefferson nickel with a large payment mark above Monticello. We're looking at a coin from one of the most interesting periods in American coin history. This was during World War II, when the United States Mint made a major change to the composition of the 5-cent coin so that nickel metal could be saved for war production. From 1942 to 1945, these nickels were made of what collectors call war nickel alloy, which consisted of silver, manganese, and copper instead of the normal nickel mixture. Because of this, every wartime nickel has a large mint mark placed above the Monticello building on the reverse side, which makes them easy to identify, even for beginners. Your coin from 1944 carries the large payment mark, showing that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. And this mint mark style only appears on the wartime silver nickels. The 1944 P. Jefferson nickel is part of a series that holds both historical and collectible significance. These coins were made with 35% silver, so even circulated examples have some intrinsic metal value. They are often collected by people who appreciate wartime artifacts or who enjoy the story behind the materials used during that difficult period. Although millions of these coins were minted, they remain popular because of their silver content and their unique position in U.S. coinage history. The large mint mark was introduced so inspectors could easily identify silver nickels in circulation. But today, it serves as a clear marker for collectors searching for war nickels. The coin you have is in fine condition with scratches, which is typical for a coin that has been circulating for many decades. A fine-grade coin generally shows moderate wear across Jefferson's portrait, where the hair detail is worn down but still visible. The lettering remains readable, and the Monticello building on the reverse may show flattened steps, but the main structure remains clear. Scratches and small marks happen naturally when coins move through circulation, and although they affect eye appeal slightly, they do not dramatically change the value for this particular date. Because war nickels are widely available, collectors often look for war nickels with sharp strikes, original luster, or high grades certified by grading services. Those rare high-grade pieces can sell for significantly higher prices. There are also a few era varieties known for this date, including double-die examples, but they are not extremely common and usually require magnification to identify. For a normal circulated 1944 P war nickel, the value is influenced more by silver content and general collector demand than by rarity. In today's market, a 1944 P. Jefferson nickel in fine condition with noticeable scratches typically sells for around $1 to $2. The silver content alone gives it a base value. And collectors who want to assemble a full wartime nickel set often purchase circulated examples in this condition. Coins in higher grades, especially those with a strong strike, can be worth more, and uncirculated examples can reach several dollars. But for a fine condition circulated piece, the price generally stays modest yet respectable due to the metal content and historical value. Even though the monetary value is not extremely high, this coin carries a story far greater than its price tag. It represents a time when the entire country contributed to the war effort, even through something as small as a 5-cent coin. The shift from nickel to a silver alloy was a reminder of how every resource mattered. Holding a war nickel today is like holding a small piece of history, a reminder of the sacrifices and changes made during World War II. Many collectors appreciate these coins for exactly that reason. Your 1944 P war nickel has lived through nearly 8 decades of circulation, and the scratches and wear reflect that long journey. It may have passed through thousands of hands, been used in countless transactions, and traveled across the country many times before finally reaching your collection. Its fine condition means it still shows good detail, even after all those years. For many collectors, the marks and wear are part of its character, showing the life it has lived. First up, we are exploring today is the 1957 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with the D Mint mark, a coin that represents the final years of one of America's most beloved and historically meaningful coin series. Even though it belongs to a period when wheat pennies were produced in very large numbers, every individual piece still carries its own story, shaped by how it was used, handled, saved, or sometimes forgotten for decades. The coin you have in hand shows signs of damage and scratches, which immediately tell us this penny spent a long part of its life in active circulation, passing from pocket to pocket, being used in everyday transactions, and experiencing the natural wear that coins go through over time. This kind of physical history gives every coin its personality. Whether or not it holds significant market value, the 1957 D penny comes from the Denver Mint, which was responsible for producing a huge number of these coins during that year. In fact, this period was known for extremely high mintage numbers, as pennies were heavily used in daily life across the United States. Because of this, most 1957 D pennies are considered common today, and collectors can find them in almost any grade, from heavily worn to mint state. However, your coin, being in damaged condition with visible scratches, falls into the lower range of preservation. The details on Lincoln's portrait, such as his hair, cheek, and jawline, may be faint or softened. On the reverse side, the wheat ears may no longer display their original crisp lines. Damage like scratches and surface marks usually reduces a coin's grade significantly, since collectors place strong emphasis on original detail and clean surfaces when determining desirability, even though it may not be a high-value coin in today's market. This 1957 D penny still holds historical and sentimental value. It is a reminder of the final era of wheat pennies before the design changed in 1959 to the Lincoln Memorial Reverse. For nearly 50 years, the wheat penny served as the standard American 1-cent coin, and millions of people handled these daily without giving much thought to their design or importance. Today, collectors look back at them as symbols of a time when small denominations were meaningful and frequently used. Long before the digital economy and electronic payments, each surviving wheat penny, including those in damaged condition, carries the weight of this rich past. Coins like this allow us to reflect on the journey they have taken. Imagine the possible places this single penny might have traveled. It may have been used to buy a soda in the 1950s, spent by a child buying candy, passed through countless cash registers, or saved temporarily in a glass jar before returning to circulation again. Over the years, it may have been dropped, scratched, rubbed against other coins, or simply worn down through time. All of these experiences are written into the metal itself. That is one of the reasons coin collecting remains such a meaningful hobby. It is not only about the value of a coin, but the stories it carries, the era it represents, and the people who once handled it in terms of market value. A 1957 D wheat penny is typically worth only a modest amount when found in damaged or heavily worn condition. Most collectors consider these common-day pennies, especially those from the 1950s, to be plentiful and easily replaceable. Values range only from a few cents to perhaps 10 cents when a coin has noticeable scratches or more serious surface issues. While this may seem low, the coin still has educational worth, especially for beginners who enjoy learning about grading, circulation wear, mint marks, and the differences between well-preserved coins and those that show the marks of time. This makes your coin a good teaching example and an interesting addition for someone building a simple wheat penny collection, even though its condition lowers its market worth. It does not reduce the historical charm of the coin. The wheat design is cherished by collectors for its classic appearance and symbolism. Designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, the obverse features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse displays two wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. This design lasted almost half a century, and today it represents a major chapter in American numismatic history. When you hold a wheat penny, you hold a piece of the past, a small artifact from an era when coins were truly part of everyday life. Next up, the 1949 Jefferson nickel. Without a mint mark is a coin that reflects the post-war era of American coinage, a time when the United States was rebuilding, expanding, and moving into a new period of economic growth. This nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark on Jefferson nickels until decades later. Because of that, the absence of a mint mark simply identifies the coin as a Philadelphia issue, and collectors recognize it as part of the regular circulation run of that year. The 1949 issue comes after the wartime silver nickels had ended, so the metal composition returned to the standard copper-nickel alloy, giving the coin its familiar durability and metallic appearance. This coin carries the classic design that had already become familiar to Americans since its introduction in 1938. On the obverse is the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, with the date placed to the right. In very fine condition, Jefferson's portrait remains clearly outlined, although some of the sharper details, especially the hair above the ear and the cheek area, may show light wear from circulation. The lettering around the obverse remains fully readable, and despite the scratches present on the coin, most of the key design elements remain intact. Scratches are common on circulated coins, especially those that were used daily for decades. And while they slightly reduce aesthetic appeal, they do not take away from the historical value or overall collectability of a typical circulated 1949 nickel. Even though the 1949 Philadelphia Jefferson nickel is not a rare coin, it still holds appeal among collectors, especially those working to complete year-by-year sets of the Jefferson series. The 1940s decade is popular because it includes both wartime silver nickels and the transitional years immediately after the war. By 1949, the mint had resumed normal production, yet the design remained nearly unchanged, making this coin part of a long, consistent series in American coinage. In today's market, the value of a 1949 Jefferson nickel without mint mark in very fine condition, even with scratches, remains modest, because millions were struck and many still survive in circulation or in collections. This date does not command high premium prices unless it is in uncirculated or certified high-grade condition. A typical circulated example like yours usually sells in the range of 20 to 50 cents in the current market. Very fine condition gives it a little more strength compared to lower grades, but the scratches and overall wear keep it in the affordable range. Higher-end versions of the same coin, especially those with full steps on Monticello, can reach significantly higher values. But circulated coins are generally valued for completeness rather than rarity. Even though the financial value remains low, the historical interest is still present. A coin like this tells the story of everyday life in the late 1940s and early 1950s. It may have been used in grocery stores, gas stations, or movie theaters, carried in pockets and cash registers at a time when America was changing rapidly. Every mark and scratch reflects the coin's journey across countless transactions and decades of use. Coins like this have lived real lives in circulation, and their wear patterns reveal the passage of time for collectors who appreciate the Jefferson nickel series. A 1949 Philadelphia issue in very fine condition can serve as a solid example of mid-century coinage. It helps complete the timeline between the silver wartime nickels and the later years when mint marks became more standardized. It also stands as a reminder of how durable coins were during this era, surviving 75 years or more and still retaining much of their original detail. Next up, the 1947 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is an important example of mid-20th century American coinage. struck at the Philadelphia Mint, part of the Lincoln Cent series, which began in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. This coin remains highly collectible, even in good condition, with some scratches. The good grade indicates moderate wear on the highest points of Lincoln's portrait and the wheat ears on the reverse, while the essential details, including the inscriptions and date, remain clear. Minor scratches across the coin's surface do not significantly reduce its collectible value and contribute to the coin's story of use over decades. The Philadelphia Mint produced a significant number of Lincoln cents in 1947, making the 1947 wheat penny relatively common. However, coins that have survived in good condition are valued for maintaining legible details, making them an attractive choice for collectors seeking to complete a Philadelphia minted series or study. Mid-century coins. Even with moderate wear, the obverse preserves much of Victor D. Brenner's original design. Lincoln's facial features and contours remain identifiable, while the scratches indicate its history of circulation and handling. These imperfections reflect the coin's role as everyday currency, used in pockets, registers, and transactions, rather than as a preserved collectible from the start. This adds character and authenticity, which collectors value alongside the coin's historical and aesthetic qualities. In today's market, a 1947 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in good condition, with some scratches, generally sells for around $15,000. Depending on the coin's eye appeal, the clarity of the date, and the severity of scratches, coins with sharper details, cleaner surfaces, or more appealing toning may command higher prices, while those with more pronounced wear or heavier scratches may sell closer to the lower end of this range. While the coin is not rare, it is valued for its historical significance and is part of a Philadelphia minted Lincoln Cent series. Especially for collectors who focus on accumulating examples from each year of the series, collectors are strongly advised not attempt cleaning this coin to remove scratches or improve appearance, as improper cleaning can damage the surface, remove natural patina, and reduce its value. Coins in their original, unaltered state, even with scratches, are preferred because they reflect authentic circulation and history. The scratches on this 1947 penny add character, telling a story of decades of everyday use and contributing to its historical significance. The historical context of the 1947 penny enhances its appeal, circulating in the post-World War II period. This coin was part of a society experiencing economic growth, suburban expansion, and the return to peacetime industry. Pennies like this one were essential in daily commerce, used for small transactions, savings, and everyday purchases. The good condition of the coin indicates that it was moderately circulated but preserved well enough to retain critical design elements, offering collectors a tangible connection to post-war American life. The 1947 penny also provides educational value. Coins in good condition with some scratches demonstrate the effects of circulation on coin surfaces over time and provide clear examples of Lincoln's portrait, the wheat ears design, and the characteristics of Philadelphia minted pennies. Even with minor surface imperfections, the coin serves as a practical example for studying coin grading, design preservation, and mid-20th century minting techniques, making it both instructive and collectible. Next up, the 1943 Jefferson nickel with the large P. Mint mark is a coin that comes from one of the most historically significant periods in American coinage. This was during World War II, when nickel was considered a critical material for the production of military equipment. So the United States Mint changed the composition of the 5-cent coin to conserve nickel. From 1942 to 1945, these war nickels were made from an alloy of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese, rather than the normal copper-nickel combination. The large mint mark above Monticello on the reverse side was a unique feature introduced to indicate. These coins were made with silver, making them easier to identify during inspections and now easily recognizable to collectors. Your coin, the 1943 P, was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and the large P mint mark sits clearly above the Monticello building, signaling its wartime silver composition. The 1943 P Jefferson nickel is historically and numismatically interesting because it reflects a time when the United States was fully mobilized for war. The use of silver in nickels was a small but meaningful contribution to the war effort, conserving critical metals for ammunition, aircraft, and other military uses. Millions of these coins were produced to keep up with circulation demands, but the silver content makes them more desirable today than standard copper-nickel nickels of other years. Collectors often look for these wartime nickels because they represent a tangible connection to a unique period in history and are part of a broader collection of World War II-era coins. In today's market, a 1943 P Jefferson nickel in good condition with scratches generally carries modest value, primarily due to its silver content. Even with wear, the silver in the alloy gives the coin intrinsic value. And collectors seeking to complete a set of wartime nickels will often include circulated examples. Typically, a 1943 P in this condition sells for around $2 to $5, depending on eye appeal, surface quality, and the visibility of the mint mark. Coins in higher grades, especially those that are uncirculated or have strong luster, can sell for much higher amounts, sometimes reaching $10 or more. While your coin is not an extreme high-grade example, it still has appeal for collectors who value history, silver content, and the wartime story behind the coin, beyond monetary value. The 1943 P Jefferson nickel carries historical significance as a witness to life during World War II. It circulated at a time when Americans were contributing to the war effort in many ways, and even small coins like this one played a part. It would have been used in stores, payphones, vending machines, and everyday purchases, moving from hand to hand and marking countless moments of daily life. The scratches and wear are reminders of the coin's journey and the ordinary, yet important, role it played during that era. Collectors value these coins not only for their silver content, but also for their historical context. The 1943 P is part of a series that represents a significant moment in U.S. coinage history, the temporary shift to silver to support the war effort. Its design remained consistent with the Jefferson nickel series introduced in 1938. But the unique composition and large mint mark distinguish it from other years and make it a sought-after piece for completing sets. In conclusion, the 1943 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark in good condition with scratches is a historically significant coin with modest market value, typically around $2 to $5. Its wartime silver composition, prominent mint mark, and circulation history give it a story that goes beyond its face value. Despite wear and scratches, it remains a tangible piece of history, connecting collectors to the World War II era and the small everyday contributions that coins like this represented. Next up, the 1918 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is a historically significant example of early 20th century American coinage. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, part of the original wheat cent series, which began in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, this coin remains highly collectible even in very fine condition with some scratches. The very fine grade indicates that Lincoln's facial features, hair, and coat are largely preserved, with only moderate wear on the highest points, while the inscriptions and date remain clearly visible. Minor scratches across the surface do not significantly reduce the coin's value and instead provide evidence of its long circulation and use over a century. In 1918, the Philadelphia Mint produced a substantial number of Lincoln cents, which were widely distributed for everyday commerce. However, coins that have survived in very fine condition are valued by collectors for retaining most of the original design details, making them sought after for completing a collection of Philadelphia minted Lincoln cents or for studying the historical period. On the obverse, Lincoln's profile is well defined, with clear contours along his cheek, jawline, and hair. The inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1918 are legible and sharp, despite minor surface scratches that reflect handling and circulation over many decades. In today's market, a 1918 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, in very fine condition with some scratches, generally sells for around $3 to $7. Depending on the clarity of the date, eye appeal, and extent of surface imperfections. Coins with sharper details, less noticeable scratches, or more attractive toning may command higher prices, while those with more pronounced wear or heavier marks may sell closer to the lower end of this range. Although this coin is relatively common in general circulation, its very fine grade makes it a desirable collectible for those seeking to preserve and study. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series from the early 20th century. Collectors are advised not to attempt cleaning or polishing the coin, even to remove minor scratches, as improper methods can damage the surface, remove natural patina, and reduce its collectible value. Coins in their original, unaltered state, even with minor imperfections, are preferred because they reflect authentic circulation and history. The scratches on this 1918 penny contribute to its character, providing evidence of its life in commerce and adding to its historical narrative. The historical context of the 1918 penny enhances its appeal. Circulating during the final year of World War I and in the immediate post-war period, this coin was part of a rapidly changing society marked by economic adjustments, the reintegration of soldiers, and the evolution of industry and commerce. Pennies like this one were used for small, everyday transactions, savings, and as essential currency for daily life. The very fine condition of this coin indicates that it was circulated but preserved carefully enough to retain the majority of its design, giving collectors a tangible connection to American life during and after the war. This coin also provides educational value. A 1918 penny in very fine condition with some scratches demonstrates the effects of circulation on coin surfaces over time, the importance of mint marks, and the grading standards used in numismatics. Even with minor surface marks, the coin allows collectors to study Lincoln's portrait, the wheat ears design, and the characteristics of Philadelphia minted pennies. Next up, making it the 1945 Jefferson nickel with the large S mint mark is a coin from the final year of the United States wartime nickel production. During World War II, from 1942 to 1945, nickel was a critical material for the war effort, and the mint adjusted the composition of the 5-cent coin to conserve this valuable metal. Wartime nickels, like the 1945 issue, were composed of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. This alloy change made the coins slightly lighter in color and gave them a distinct, silver-like appearance compared to regular copper-nickel nickels. One unique feature of these wartime coins was the placement of the mint mark above the Monticello building on the reverse, which allowed for easy identification of the silver content. Your coin carries the S mint mark, indicating it was struck at the San Francisco Mint, and the large mint mark design is typical of this era. The 1945 S. Jefferson nickel is historically significant because it represents the last year of the war nickel program. By this time, millions of these silver-containing coins were being circulated to meet the demand for everyday transactions, while preserving nickel for military needs. The large S mint mark not only identifies the mint location, but also serves as a distinctive feature that collectors often look for when completing wartime nickel sets. Even though millions of these coins were produced, their silver content and historical context make them interesting pieces for collectors today. Your 1945's nickel is in good condition with some scratches, which is common for coins that have circulated for more than 75 years. A coin in good condition generally shows wear on the higher points of Jefferson's portrait on the obverse, such as the hair and cheek, but the overall outline remains clear and recognizable. The date 1945 is fully readable, and the S-mint mark is still distinct despite minor surface damage. Scratches, minor dents, and light discoloration are normal for coins that have passed through decades of circulation, and they add character to the coin, reflecting the history of its use in everyday American life. In today's market, a 1945's Jefferson nickel in good condition with scratches typically has modest value, primarily because of its silver content and collectible interest. Even circulated coins from this series tend to sell for more than face value due to the intrinsic silver content, though they are still affordable for most collectors. Generally, a coin in this condition sells for around $2 to $5. Depending on eye appeal, the clarity of the mint mark, and the presence of scratches, higher grade or uncirculated coins from the same year can reach much higher prices, sometimes exceeding $10. But a circulated example in good condition remains a realistic and accessible addition to a collection beyond monetary value. The 1945's Jefferson nickel is historically meaningful. It represents the resourcefulness of the United States during World War II and the ways in which everyday items, including coins, were adapted to support the war effort. This coin circulated in ordinary transactions, paying for groceries, streetcar fares, vending machines, and countless other daily purchases, connecting it to the lives of Americans during the final year of the war. Every scratch and mark on the coin reflects the decades it spent in pockets, cash drawers, and coin collections, giving it a tangible link to history. Collectors value this coin not only for its silver content, but also for its place in the Jefferson nickel series and its role in the broader story of U.S. coinage during wartime. Even with minor scratches and signs of wear, it serves as a compelling educational piece, illustrating both design, consistency, and material changes during an important era. For beginners and experienced collectors alike, a 1945's Jefferson nickel provides a window into the past and a hands-on connection to the historical events that shaped the coin's production. The next coin in this journey through America's historic currency is the 1941 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, a coin that represents the early years of the 1940s, a time when the United States was on the edge of entering World War II. Every penny minted during this era carries with it a quiet connection to the past, to a world dramatically different from today. And the 1941 wheat penny stands as a reminder of America's economic strength and daily life in that important decade. Even in good condition with some scratches, this coin brings forward its own character, shaped by years of circulation and the hands that carried it. Coins from 1941 were struck in very large quantities, especially at the Philadelphia Mint, which is the origin of your coin. The absence of a mint mark confirms that it was produced in Philadelphia. During this time, the mint was preparing for increased production demands, as wartime tensions were rising and industries were shifting their focus toward supporting national efforts. The copper used in Lincoln pennies of this period came from natural resources that were widely available before the shift to steel cents in 1943, a change driven by the need to conserve copper for military supplies. So, every copper penny minted in 1941 reflects the materials and priorities of pre-war America. Your coin, described as being in good condition with some scratches, indicates that it spent a fair amount of time in circulation. In coin grading terms, good condition usually means the major details are visible, but the finer elements of the design show wear. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's portrait remains recognizable, though the hair details above the forehead may appear worn down. The cheek and jawline may show flattening from years of handling, and the word liberty may be slightly softened. The date 1941, however, typically remains clear and readable on coins in this grade. The reverse side, featuring the iconic wheat ears, shows additional signs of wear. The wheat stalks, which originally had sharp lines and fine separation between the grains, may appear smooth, but the central inscriptions, including 1 cent and United States of America, stay legible. The scratches mentioned are normal for a coin of this age and simply reflect decades of movement through pockets, cash registers, and coin jars. While scratches affect collectability, they do not take away from the historical importance of the coin. Collectors often appreciate circulated wheat pennies for the stories they carry. A 1941 penny could have been used during the early 1940s for small purchases when even a single cent had value in everyday life. It may have bought chewing gum, paid part of a bus fare, or contributed to a child's small savings. Every scratch and mark on its surface represents a moment in time. Whether it was sliding across a store counter, dropped into a metal cash drawer, or kept for years in a family coin jar. In today's market, the value of a 1941 wheat penny without mint mark in good condition is modest, typically ranging from a few cents to around 10 cents, depending on the level of wear and the presence of scratches. Because millions were minted and many have survived, the coin is considered common. However, for new collectors or anyone preserving family history, it is still a meaningful and enjoyable piece to own. Its affordability also makes it popular for beginners who want to experience the charm of wheat pennies without needing to spend much. Even though higher-grade examples of the 1941 penny can be worth more, circulated examples like yours still hold a place in the world of numismatics. What makes this coin interesting is not its rarity, but its role in American coinage. The Wheat Penny series, designed by Victor David Brenner, was introduced in 1909 for the centennial of Lincoln's birth. It became one of the most beloved and longest-running designs in U.S. coin history. Lasting until 1958, the 1941 penny sits right at the midpoint of that long timeline, representing the established trust Americans had in this design. The obverse portrait of Lincoln, with its thoughtful expression and historical meaning, remains one of the most iconic images ever placed on American money. The reverse wheat design symbolizes agricultural strength, national growth, and the values of hard work and prosperity. Even though your coin carries wear, it also carries authenticity. Good condition circulated coins often feel more connected to the people who used them. They are not untouched or hidden away for decades. Instead, they lived a real life in the hands of workers, families, students, shopkeepers, and travelers. Each mark on the coin tells its own timeless story. In today's modern world, where digital transactions dominate and physical money becomes less common, holding a 1941 wheat penny becomes even more meaningful. It is a tangible reminder of a time when everyday purchases relied on simple coins like this one. First up, the 1920 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny, without a mint mark, is one of the classic treasures in the world of U.S. coin collecting. This coin, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, holds a special place in numismatic history, not only because it is part of the long-running Lincoln wheat cent series, but also because it has survived over a century of circulation. The absence of a mint mark signifies its origin at the nation's primary mint, which produced millions of these coins each year. Yet finding a well-preserved example from 1920 in fine condition is a moment of excitement for any collector. The Lincoln Wheat Penny Series, first introduced in 1909, is designed by Victor David Brenner to honor Abraham Lincoln on the centennial of his birth. The obverse features Lincoln's right-facing portrait with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the year 1920 to the right. On the reverse, two stylized wheat ears curve along the sides, framing the denomination 1 cent and the words United States of America, with E pluribus unum at the top. This design not only celebrated one of America's most beloved presidents, but also symbolized prosperity and growth through the wheat motif. It is a design that remained unchanged for nearly 50 years, making it one of the most iconic U.S. coin series in history. Your 1920 penny, described as being in fine condition, reflects the moderate circulation we're expected from a coin that has passed through many hands over the decades. In numismatic terms, fine condition, often abbreviated as F, indicates that the main features are still clear and visible, even though the coin has experienced some flattening and smoothing on Lincoln's cheek, jawline, and hair. The lettering and date remain distinct, allowing collectors to easily identify and appreciate the coin. On the reverse, both wheat stalks are clearly outlined, though the inner details may have faded due to circulation. Small scratches or minor marks, typical for a coin that has been in use for over 100 years, do not substantially detract from its overall value, despite its relatively high mintage. The 1920 Lincoln wheat penny, without a mint mark, carries collectible significance because of its age and condition. Many examples from this year are found in lower grades, heavily worn or damaged, so finding one in fine condition is noteworthy. Collectors appreciate this coin not only for its historical value, but also for its ability to provide a tangible connection to early 20th century America. It represents a time when the nation was recovering from World War I, entering the Roaring '20s and experiencing significant social and economic change. Holding a 1920 penny is like holding a small piece of that era, connecting modern collectors to nearly a century of history. In today's coin market, the value of a 1920 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition typically ranges from $1.50 to $300 USD, depending on color, surface quality, and the presence of any minor imperfections or scratches. Coins with attractive, evenly toned surfaces, showing a natural reddish-brown or brown coloration, can command prices closer to the upper end of that range. Conversely, coins with noticeable scratches or uneven discoloration may sell for closer to the lower end. While this may not seem like a large sum, the coin's historical significance and place within the Lincoln wheat penny series make it highly desirable for collectors aiming to complete a date set or build a collection of early 20th century coins beyond its monetary value. The 1920 penny is an emblem of endurance. It has circulated through generations, surviving countless pockets, cash registers, and coin jars, yet still retains identifiable details and aesthetic appeal. Its existence today allows collectors to study the artistry of early U.S. coinage and appreciate the consistency and quality of minting practices from that period. Even a coin with minor scratches or wear tells a story about the people and times it has passed through, offering a unique connection to America's past that goes far beyond its face value. For those looking to preserve this coin, proper storage is essential. Avoid cleaning it, as cleaning can remove the natural patina and reduce its collector appeal. Instead, store the penny in a protective coin flip, holder, or album designed for pennies. Handling should be minimized, with the coin touched only by its edges to prevent additional wear or oil transfer from fingers. With careful storage, the 1920 Lincoln wheat penny can continue to maintain its condition and collectible value for decades to come, making it both instructive and collectible for beginners and experienced collectors alike. Next up, the 1918 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is a historically significant coin, struck at the Philadelphia Mint as part of the original Lincoln cent series that began in 1909, even in dirty condition with some scratches. This coin remains collectible for its age, historical context, and classic design. The dirty grade indicates significant surface discoloration, possible grime accumulation, and noticeable wear, while the scratches reflect handling and circulation over more than a century. Despite these imperfections, the essential elements of the coin Lincoln's profile, the date, and the inscriptions remain identifiable, preserving its historical and numismatic value in 1918. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of Lincoln cents for widespread circulation. While most coins from this year were common, surviving examples with legible details, even in less than ideal condition, continue to be of interest to collectors, especially those focused on assembling a complete series of Philadelphia minted wheat pennies. On the obverse, Lincoln's profile is still visible, though the high points of his cheek, jawline, and hair show significant wear. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1918 can be discerned beneath the surface dirt and scratches, confirming the coin's authenticity and origin. The obverse demonstrates the enduring artistry of Victor D. Brenner's design, even when affected by grime and circulation wear. Lincoln's facial features remain recognizable, and the general outline of his head and shoulders is preserved. The scratches and surface imperfections reflect decades of use, telling a story of the coin's journey through countless transactions and hands. This wear does not completely detract from the coin's historical or educational value, as it provides insight into how coins circulated and aged during the early 20th century. In today's market, a 1918 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, in dirty condition with scratches, generally sells for around $100 to $200, depending on the extent of dirt, scratches, and remaining clarity of the date and inscriptions. Coins with more readable features or slightly cleaner surfaces may fetch higher prices, while those with heavier dirt or more pronounced wear may sell toward the lower end of the range. Though not rare, the coin's age and historical context make it desirable for collectors who value early 20th century Philadelphia minted Lincoln pennies, even in less pristine condition. Collectors are strongly advised not to attempt aggressive cleaning or polishing to remove dirt, as improper cleaning can damage the surface, remove the natural patina, and reduce the coin's numismatic value. Coins in their original, unaltered state, even when dirty or scratched, are preferred because they reflect authentic circulation history. The grime and surface marks on this 1918 penny add character and historical narrative, providing tangible evidence of its journey through everyday American life. The historical context of the 1918 penny enhances its appeal, circulating during the final year of World War I. This coin was part of the everyday economy during a period of social and economic change. Pennies like this were used for small purchases, savings, and daily transactions, making them an essential part of life for ordinary Americans. The dirty condition of the coin suggests that it saw extensive use over many years. Yet it survives to offer collectors a direct link to the past and a connection to a pivotal moment in American history. The 1918 penny also offers educational value. A coin in dirty condition with scratches demonstrates how circulation affects coins over time, provides insight into grading standards, and illustrates the significance of mint marks, even with dirt and wear. The coin allows collectors to study Lincoln's portrait, the wheat ears design, and the characteristics of Philadelphia minted pennies, making it both instructive and collectible for beginners and seasoned numismatists alike. Overall, the 1918 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, in dirty condition with some scratches, is a historically significant and collectible coin. Its current market value generally ranges from $1,000 to $2,000, reflecting its age, Philadelphia origin, and condition. Despite surface dirt, scratches, and moderate wear, the coin retains essential design elements and provides a tangible connection to early 20th century America and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln on U.S. currency. Even coins in less than perfect condition continue to be appreciated for their historical, educational, and collectible significance, making them a meaningful addition to any Lincoln wheat penny collection. Next up, the 1937 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark is an example of early 20th century American coinage that continues to attract collectors, even in damaged condition with some scratches. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, This coin is part of the original wheat cent series, which began in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. While the damaged grade indicates significant wear, surface imperfections, and possible discoloration or minor corrosion, the coin retains historical value and remains identifiable. Even in this condition, collectors can appreciate the design, the date, and the significance of the Philadelphia minted Lincoln penny, despite its damaged condition. The obverse preserves enough detail to make the coin recognizable. Lincoln's silhouette and some facial features are still discernible, allowing collectors to appreciate Victor D. Brenner's original design. The scratches and surface wear illustrate the effects of circulation on a coin over time, providing a tangible link to its use in the late 1930s. These imperfections do not completely diminish the historical or numismatic value, as the coin still serves as a representation of its era. In today's market, a 1937 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in damaged condition with some scratches generally sells for around 5 to 15 cents, depending on the extent of damage, clarity of the date, and overall eye appeal. Coins with slightly better surfaces or less severe wear may fetch the higher end of this range, while those with heavy scratches, corrosion, or other damage may sell for very little. While the coin is not rare, its historical context and survivability make it a collectible item, particularly for those who aim to assemble examples from every year of the Philadelphia minted Lincoln Cent series. Collectors are advised not to attempt cleaning or repairing this coin, as improper methods can further damage the surface, remove the natural patina, or lower its value. Coins in their original unaltered state, even when heavily worn or scratched, are generally preferred because they reflect authentic circulation history. The scratches and other imperfections on this 1937 penny tell the story of decades of everyday use, enhancing the coin's character and historical significance. The historical context of the 1937 penny adds to its appeal. Circulating during the Great Depression, this coin was part of everyday commerce in a challenging economic period, when pennies were essential for small purchases and savings. The damaged condition of the coin suggests that it saw extensive use over many years, carried in pockets, exchanged in shops, and handled by numerous individuals. Despite the wear, it remains a link to the daily life and economic conditions of the late 1930s, connecting collectors to the experiences of Americans during this era. This coin also has educational value. A 1937 penny in damaged condition with scratches provides insight into the effects of circulation and handling, grading standards, and the significance of mint marks. Even in poor condition, the coin allows collectors to study Lincoln's portrait, the wheat ears design, and Philadelphia mint characteristics, making it both instructive and collectible for beginners and experienced collectors alike. Overall, the 1937 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in damaged condition with some scratches is a historically significant and collectible coin. Its current market value generally ranges from 5 to 15 cents, reflecting its extensive wear and Philadelphia origin. Despite heavy scratches and surface damage, the coin retains essential design features and offers a tangible connection to the late 1930s and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln on U.S. currency.